Hey everyone, I hope you're having a really good day. Today I'm wearing one of the beanies that I made last December. I'm not the greatest crocheter, but hey, I did my best. And I haven't worn this beanie at all since I made it, so I thought today would be the day that I'd wear it. It doesn't really match my floral shirt, but it's okay. Anyway, I've been thinking about a lot of things lately, and I can sincerely say that this year so far has been such a turbulent year for me. Not just my personal matters have been all over the place, but also it seems like all the external circumstances seem like they're all just going haywire, and there's a bunch of turmoil going on, and I don't know what to think of it. I don't know what to make of it, and I just feel so frustrated, so powerless, so insignificant because I can't do much to, first of all, ameliorate my own situation, and second of all, ameliorate the situation of others, because it breaks my heart to see other people suffering, to see how greed and avarice can hijack someone's soul and prevent them from seeing the humanity in their neighbor. And so seeing other people suffering, knowing that they don't have enough food to eat, enough resources to survive, because as Maslow's hierarchy of needs explains, the bottom needs, our foundational needs, are food, water, shelter, and sex is one of them, but you can argue that you can live without sex, and a lot of people do. Look at those Buddhist monks, right? Or many clergymen that decide to live an ascetic life, or just people in general, laymen, people that decide to live an ascetic life. But you do need certain foundational needs in order to survive and thrive and just be able to think about deeper subjects. Because if you don't have your foundational needs, then you don't really have anything. You don't really have anything, and you don't have the time to think about deep subjects. And maybe the state of the world right now is on purpose. The very few that were able to acquire most of the resources of the planet want others to not have their foundational needs met in order for them to keep their power, and in order for the rest of us to not think about deeper subjects, about what really matters in life. And to me, what really matters to me is my family, my friends, my well-being, the well-being of my community. And that sounds a bit selfish, and it is, to a certain extent it is, because I'm only looking after my bubble, my circle. But I also am aware that I only have power to influence a small amount of people, a small number of people in my life. I only have the power to help those who are in close proximity to me. But I don't have the ability to really help someone that's somewhere in Madagascar or somewhere in Myanmar. I don't have that sort of influence because they're not in my close proximity. I don't know anyone who's Burmese. I don't know anyone who's from Madagascar. And I really can't help the whole world. I can't influence the world. And when you're a little kid, you have this, or at least I had this dream or this fantasy, this pipe dream that when I grow up, I'm going to help the whole entire world. And you grow up and you realize that you're pretty much powerless, that you can't do much, and all you can really do is help those who are in close proximity to you. And if we all did that, if we all helped and looked after each other, those who are in close proximity to us, those who are in our circle, if we all did that, then I think we would have a better world. If we all said, hey, Timmy, my cousin twice removed, Timmy, hey, Timmy, what's going on with you? Are you okay? If you ever want to talk, then I'm here for you, and I'm here to listen to you. And it doesn't have to be by help. I don't mean financial resources. It can mean something like the Timmy example, where you just give someone your presence, which is the most valuable thing, I would argue, that you can give to someone. Because so many people have everything. I've met people, I have friends that they have everything. They've had everything their whole entire lives. Their parents were financially stable, they got everything, materialistically speaking, but they never got their parents' time. They never had that connection with their parents, and they resent their parents today because they don't really know their parents, and their parents don't know them because their parents never carved out the time to give their kids their time. But anyway, I'm going off track here. What I'm really trying to say is that it really bothers me how avarice, greed, selfishness can hijack someone's soul, and how that can make someone so selfish and egotistical. And most of us don't have the power to influence hundreds, thousands, millions of people, but some do. Some really do have those platforms, and some people in the world, like the 1%, really do have the power to change things up and change the current state of the world, or at least go in that direction for the better, because they have the influence, the power, the platform, and the resources. They own the resources. And if these people were really selfless, they would try and help those that really are in precarious situations and really need a head start in life because they've been through history or through geography, through the place that they're at. Maybe the person was born in a desert where it's really arid and there's no access to water or food. Some people need that head start, and some of these 1%ers do have that platform, do have that power to influence for the better, but they choose not to. They become blinded by a couple of numbers, or not a couple of numbers, several numbers on their bank account. And the more numbers they have on their bank account, the happier they feel like they will be. But you can see examples such as Elon Musk, who he's got everything. The man has got the power, he's got the money, he's got the houses. He can buy himself 20, 50, 100, 150 houses. He can buy himself 100, 200 cars. He can buy himself anything, but the man is still not happy. He still is doing some stupid shit. I don't really know what he's doing. I'm at loss for words. I really do not know what this man is doing with his life, but you can see that the man is lost. The man does not know what he wants anymore because he's got everything. And what does that tell you? That having everything isn't the answer to happiness. Having everything isn't going to be the elixir to the problems in your mind. It won't rid the demons that you have to constantly fight with in your own mind. And so, to a certain extent, I have a bit of compassion for people like Elon Musk. Believe it or not, people like Donald Trump. Because terrible people who have done terrible things thus far, and have done terrible things in the past as well. Terrible, terrible things. Maybe they haven't openly committed terrible acts of crimes, such as, what Hitler did, or what Stalin did, or what Pol Pot did. They haven't gone to that level, but they sure have affected many people's lives and have indirectly caused a lot of suffering through their actions because they own all the resources. But what I'm trying to say is that I do have a bit of compassion for people like Donald Trump, people like Elon Musk, and I'm probably going to get hate for this. I'm sorry, but this is my opinion. And I have compassion because I don't think these people were ever loved. I really don't think people like Donald Trump, I don't think anyone ever loved this man. I don't think anyone ever loved Elon Musk. I don't think these people have ever experienced true, unconditional love. And I feel sorry about that. I feel sorry for them because they think that having all the resources, having all the power, having the platform, having everything will make them happy. And you just see that they keep on chasing and keep screwing people's lives over. But they're still unhappy. They still want more and more and more and more. Because if they were really happy with what they had, they'd stop fucking things up and they'd start to help others. Because that's what you do when you're content with yourself. When you're at ease. When you're happy, when you're at peace with yourself and you have all your needs met, what's next on the pyramid? What's the highest level you can reach? Self-actualization. And what is self-actualization? What is included within self-actualization? Helping your neighbor. Now that you have all of your needs met, now that you have everything in your life, all the foundational needs cleared, you want to help those that don't have that met yet. You want to help those that are struggling because you understand that their struggle is your struggle, that they are your species, they are your posse. Other humans, whoever is watching this video, you're my posse, you're my tribe, you're my species, you're me. And when you're the alpha male, if we look at the wilderness and we look at the animal kingdom, and we are animals, right? We just behave differently and we have different capacities, but that doesn't mean that we're better than other animals. When you see the leader or the alpha male, and the alpha male has been corrupted by people like Andrew Tate and other terrible influencers out there. And to be honest, I don't really know the Andrew Tate drama because I don't watch that shit, but I know of it. I've heard enough of it that I know the gist of it, of what he preaches. But anyway, where was I going with this? Oh yeah, the alpha male usually has control of the territory, has control of the females, has control of the resources, but their job is to keep the tribe safe and to keep the tribe. If you see gorillas or you see chimpanzees, well, chimpanzees are very different, but gorillas are a good example, and we share a lot of DNA with gorillas. You see that the alpha male is, the purpose of the leader is to create order, stability, and the leader is also in charge of having all of the tribe's needs met. And these alpha males that we have today, the people in power, should be doing the same thing. Should be, their job should be to make sure that their tribe, and I'm not talking about, oh, there should be one alpha male for the whole entire human species because we're 8 billion. It's 8 billion of us, right? But there should be a couple of leaders, and it doesn't have to be males. It should be some females, because I'm not going to get into that tangent, but it just seems like that women have more, I'm going to get a lot of shit for this, but have more nurturing and more, have softer qualities. And softness is not a weakness. And I would argue that misogyny is not a hate for women. Misogyny doesn't hate women. Misogyny hates softness. Misogyny hates anything that is perceived as soft, whether that is more effeminate men, women, children, anything that it perceives as an effeminate, soft quality is hated by society. But I should talk about it in a different video, and then that's something that I've realized about myself, that it's not that we live in misogyny where women are hated. Yes, women are hated, and you see it in certain countries, and I've traveled to certain countries where women are really treated poorly, and I've seen it with my own two eyes, the inequality that exists, and the way women are treated, and how they are second-class citizens. But it's really not. What I've come to realize, that the issue is deeper than the hate for women. It's more of a hate for anything that is perceived as soft, as nurturing, as loving, as And anyway, okay, I'm getting on a tangent here. Maybe I should talk about it in a different video. But I do believe that females should also be leaders. It shouldn't just be males, because we do need the female perspective, and that's what makes men and women so, it makes us so beautiful, right? And also, I'm including the gender fluid perspective, because that's what makes our species so beautiful, that it's just so different. And we need those different perspectives. But anyway, I'm going off on a tangent here. Unfortunately, the leaders that we have today don't care about the well-being of their tribe, which would mean like their country. They don't care about the well-being of their country. They care about their own well-being and me. They don't care about you. They don't care about their neighbors. They only care about me. But I find these people really sad. Okay, they act all macho and, chauvinistic and everything, but behind closed doors, when the lights are out and they're alone in their beds, I wouldn't be surprised if these men shed a couple of tears. Or maybe they don't shed, or maybe they are psychopathic and sociopathic and they really don't shed tears. But I wouldn't be surprised if they're not happy, just in general. Because, as I said earlier, if they were happy, they'd be content with what they have. They wouldn't want to continue to add numbers to their bank account. That would just be like, oh my God, I've already got $1 billion. So, okay, that's more than enough. That's a lot of money, by the way. $1 billion. $1 billion. It's a shit ton of money. Man, oh man. And so it breaks my heart to see that certain people, and you don't just see it with the 1%, you see it with people in your community, where I've seen it with people in my community, and you see it in bigger cities, of course, where people are blinded by greed. But are they really happy? Can their money cure their illness? If they ever fall ill with an incurable disease, can their money do anything to cure them? I think I've shared this story before, but I met a really, really wealthy woman once, and she had a kid, and I forget what the disease is called. But it's this skin disease where her child had open wounds, like the skin would rot, because it would he would easily peel, and so it would bleed, and so he had scabs all over his body, and so that skin would rot. And I forget what that disease is called, but it had no cure. And these people were wealthy, and I mean wealthy. They were working with, she was the manager of Tom Cruise, that kind of wealthy. And Tom Cruise does not pay his managers pennies. He pays them pretty well. And I met her through, it's a long story of how I met her, and I'm not in those wealthy social circles. It was just a coincidence that I met this person. But I felt really bad for her because she couldn't do much for her child. She had all the money. She was pretty wealthy. She wasn't a billionaire, of course, but she was a millionaire. But she couldn't do anything for her child. Her child had an incurable disease, And that's what I'm trying to say. When it really comes down to it, money, all the resources in the world, they're not going to cure you. They're not going to cure you from your afflictions. It's not going to cure you from an incurable disease. It's not going to cure you if you're having issues with your family members, or if you have no one to love or no one loves you. It's not going to cure you from a heartbreak or being lonely. So it breaks my heart to see people that are just so greedy, and other people that are struggling to have their foundational needs met and not being able to do anything about it. I just feel so powerless because I wish I had the money. I wish I had the resources, or I wish I had the ability to siphon what these billionaires have and just give it to the poor. And the sad part is that if we did that, the rich would still be rich because they'd have enough money to still live a comfortable life. But I guess that's the illusion that people chase, that hamster wheel of wanting more and more and more and more and more, and you end up with less. The more you want, the less you have, because the more stuff you acquire and the more money you acquire, you have to step on a couple of people, and you lose relationships. You lose your integrity. You lose your values. But anyway, maybe that's a video for a different day. But I hope you have a great day. I hope you have a great life, and I hope that you never get blinded by that hustle culture or that illusion that money, resources, materialistic desires will make you happy, because they won't. And we all fall for that trick. And I've fallen for that. I'm still blinded by certain illusions that, oh, I want this kind of car because if I have this kind of car, then I'll be able to off-road. But what does it mean if I have this kind of car? That means that I'm going to have to pay like a $700 for registration, for my car registration. The tires are going to be super expensive. How am I going to afford this car? The more gas, yes, I'm going to be able to off-road, but am I going to have the money to, to maintain this car? So I think about all that stuff, and I'm just like, sometimes I'm just like, I just got to be happy with what I have. I've got my health, which is one of the most important things somebody can have, is being healthy. Like physically healthy. Mentally healthy, questionable. But physically healthy, man, does it make a difference to be physically healthy and have everything working right. I've got my health, I've got my family, I've got a job. I'm not starving. So I gotta be grateful for that and accept what I have. So I hope you accept what you have today. I hope you have a great day. Peace and love. Bye.